I think the way that my ideas deal with the nothingness of vacuum is a good example of why I like the system where I have it set up so far. Because, so for example, I define existence that the following way: I have these perceptions, so I exist, and I am whatever it is that's having these perceptions, whether I'm doing them or they're just happening to me or whatever. That's that's how I define I and existence. Other things exist by virtue of interacting with me, which through my perceptions or through my unperceived interactions, which I have evidence of through my perceptions and which I generalize the idea of from my perceptions. So, so anyway, so a thing exists if it's interacting with my perceptions, right? So if I ask, you know, if something exists, I'm asking, does it have a behavior? Can I interact with it? So take a vacuum. Some people consider a vacuum a void. I've always thought, well, the fact that there's this spatial extension, at the very least, the fact that there's space there, makes it not actually nothing. Um, and but simply analyzing this other way and asking, well, do I interact with a vacuum? Or does a vacuum exhibit some behavior with respect to me if I'm with it? And yes, it does, of course. I'd have to be very prepared for a vacuum. It exhibits behaviors like decompressing you. So, so yeah, that's why I have no trouble considering it as a something and a phenomena. And if a lack of something still shows the space, the medium. It's like a blank page is a piece of paper. It's there's always something there. Anything that's blank is really just something that's ready for some kind of an imprint. And other than that, I would consider it a kind of a thing. Now, I realize it's not literally a thing like a lot of people think about it, where think about things where, okay, it's in a particular existence and substance. It's a thing in the sense that it's a thing going on. It's a system. And I make that, I call that a thing anyway because that's what all things are. A thing that seems like a solid object is really still just a system of energy. Um, and when I say just a system of energy, not just, I mean, it just happens to be. And so it's more like a system of changing energy. It's more like a standing wave than it is like an old-fashioned thing.